今天是10月11号，然后呢，中国在前2天就是宣布对稀土进行更加严格的管控，那这直接就是造成了特朗普恼羞成怒。他恼羞成怒，一个是因为他没有得到挪威的一个诺贝尔和平奖。然后其次是中国的，这个稀土的话，也是给了他一个很大的一个重创，所以呢，他又一次 crazy 了。然后我们也看到，从股市的暴跌到那个各种币的很大的崩。其实我对Web3不了解，但是我对赚钱非常感兴趣。可是我又特怕失去钱，所以我至今都不敢买Web3。所以说呢，但是呢，川普他丢脸归丢脸，就是他这样一个反复的政策的话，我个人的直觉来说，就是说川普家族就是特朗普家族就是应该也没少从中捞到，就是应该是捞了非常非常多的好处。他手头的，比如说资金啊、资产啊，或者说他的一些，你看他的son-in-law、他的女婿啊、女儿，就是都得到了非常大的利益链。那所以说，就是说，怎么说呢？当商人去主导了政治之后，他可能还会变成演员，所以我都不知道这股市它到底能不能动，因为很怕说，诶，我每次看它一暴跌，然后一买，完了，它还能继续跌，所以呢，究竟是机会还是危机，可能大家都说不住吧。好吧，那先让我来很正经的读一下新闻。This is the 11 October 2025. In retaliatory move, Trump threatened 100% tariffs on Chinese goods. President Trump on Friday said he would impose a 100% tariff on all products from China in response to curve Beijing announced this week on rare earth minerals, a rapid escalation of tensions between the world's largest economies. On Truth Social, Mr. Trump wrote that the tariffs would take effect on November 1 and be imposed over and above other tariffs on Chinese exports, which are already 30% and in some cases much higher. The United States would also put effort controls on critical software, he said. In an earlier post on Friday, the president threatened to retaliate and cancel a planned meeting with China's leader Xi Jinping. Mr. Trump called the curse that China put out this week on its experts on rare earth minerals sinister and hostile, and said they would make life difficult for virtually every country in the world. He added that he had planned to meet Mr. Xi in 2 weeks at an international economy conference in South Korea, but now there seems to be no reason to do so. One of the policies that we are calculating at this moment is a massive increase of tariffs on Chinese products coming into the United States of America, he wrote. There are many other countermeasures that are Likewise, under serious consideration, markets shuddered at the developments, the S&P 500 index sliding more than 2% on Friday. Speaking Friday evening, the president suggested that the tariffs could be worked back before the November 1 deadline, that he would not necessarily cancel his planned meeting with Mr. Xi. We'll see what happens, Mr. Trump said. He called China's move very, very bad. Rare earth minerals, which are vital for making an array of products, including motors, sprays, semiconductors, and fighter jets, have been at the center of tensions between the United States and China this year. Mr. Trump has also placed extreme tariffs on Chinese exports before, only to walk them back after they restricted trade and hurt companies in both countries. In April, the Chinese government responded to the stiff tariffs Mr. Trump imposed on Chinese goods by clamping down on mineral exports destined for U.S. automakers and defense manufacturers. The Trump administration tried to encourage China to back down by imposing its own restrictions on exports of chip design software, airplane engines, and other products. U.S. tariffs on Chinese products rose to a minimum of 145%, bringing much trade between the countries to a halt and raising concerns about empty American store shelves. China's mineral curse threatened to close U.S. factories and force the United States, which depends on Chinese supplies, to pull back. Ultimately, officials from both countries reached a fragile trace in meetings this spring that led to Mr. Trump reducing his tariff and Beijing's approving more mineral exports. On Thursday, Beijing again escalated its controls, asserting broader jurisdiction over the global manufacture of semiconductors and other technology. The Chinese government said it would require companies anywhere in the world to obtain license if they are exporting products containing even a minimal amount of Chinese produced rare earth, including for chip manufacturing. Those exports would also be controlled if the minerals were produced using Chinese mining, processing, or magnet-making technologies. Companies with any affiliation to foreign militaries would be largely denied those licenses. It said the Chinese government also put new controls on equipment needed to manufacture batteries for electric cars. The global nature of the Chinese registration measure those that the United States has put on semiconductors, which dictate that any companies using American chip technology anywhere in the world must follow United States guidelines. China has responded to those restrictions by developing its own framework to regulate industries that it dominates. China mines 70% of the world's rare earth and performs the chemical processing for roughly 90% of the global supply of the minerals. The new restrictions have caused significant anxiety among U.S. companies, analysts said the new limits could scramble the supply chains of some of the world's biggest companies, including Nvidia and Apple. Tech stocks were particularly hard hit on Friday, with Nvidia down almost 5%, Advanced Micro Devices falling almost 8%, and the broader semiconductor sector sliding over 5%. On Friday, China also announced an anti-monopoly investigation into the American chipmaker Qualcomm and new fees for US chips docking at Chinese ports. Analysts had speculated that China's minor registration could be an effort to amass leverage ahead of the meeting between Mr. Trump and Mr. Xi. If so, it could backfire. In addition to President's calls for retaliation, others critics of China said the measures highlighted the need for the United States to reduce its exposure to the Chinese economy. The Chinese government has set out emission plans in recent decades to dominate various industries, including steel, shipbuilding, robotics, rare earths, and biomedicine. John Mueller, the Republican chairman of the House Select Committee on China, called Beijing's action an economic declaration of war against the United States and a step into the face to President Trump and his effort to fight for a level playing field. Mr. Mueller said the United States should immediately pass legislation to end preferential trade treatment for China, build the U.S. supply on minerals, and strangle China's technology sector with export controls instead of selling it advanced chips. Wendy Carter, a senior vice president at the think tank Asian Society Policy Institute, said the president's statements showed how fragile the emerging detente between the two countries really is. Beijing has become increasingly assertive, believing it has the upper hand in the bilateral relationship, she said, but Mr. Trump's counter-threats showed that two can play this game. With the planned summit between the leaders in just over 2 weeks, it was unclear whether the two sides would be willing to de-escalate to hold the meeting, Mr. Carter added. In his social media post, Mr. Trump said that China's policy come out of nowhere. The United States' relationship with China over the past 6 months had been a very good one, he said. The president said that although China had a monopoly on rare earth minerals, the United States had other monopolies that were stronger and much more for reach. He added, I have just no children to use them. There was never a reason for me to do so until now. The White House has been planning for President Trump to travel to Asia later this month, where he will meet Mr. Xi on the sidelines of the Asian Pacific Economic Cooperation meeting in South Korea. The plans had generated speculation about whether the meeting could lead to an economic deal between the countries, potentially including Chinese purchase of American products or Chinese investment in the United States. Beijing has also been interested in having the United States roll back the global controls it has put on China's access to advanced AI chips. American farmers have asking the administration to push China to remove retaliatory tariffs on U.S. soybean export that have had a crippling impact this year. Cater Rallen, a Kentucky soybean farmer who is the president of the American Soybean Association, said that his group was extremely disappointed that a planned meeting between Mr. Trump and Mr. Xi would be cancelled. Trade wars are harmful to everyone, and these latest developments are deeply disappointing at a moment when soybean farmers are facing an ever-growing financial crisis, Mr. Ryan said. Thanks for listening. Hope your lives with the fully of joys and happiness. And hope you have the courage to do anything what you want to do and what you want to be. 好了，现在我要继续屁话。如果你还没有关掉的话，就是说，其实要说是谁来扰乱了这个世界的秩序，那毫无疑问就是川普功劳是非常非常之大的。中国嘛，反正我们大家都很清楚，说中国的一个它的尿性就是这样子。那特朗普的一个上台的话，就是一个是他本身也反复，那中国的话，就是相当于说他这个规则其实有点变来变去的，就是说一会儿行一会儿不行。我觉得就是如果你有一直在听我的频道的话，有一直在听这个频道的话，那《纽约时报》的这些新闻中，因为很多都是跟中国相关的新闻，像美国这边其实因为川普这种加征关税的问题，也引发了自身的一些，就是很多的一些经济问题慢慢浮出层面，像是文章中也有提到的，就是大豆种植玉米的农民，原本中国是他们最大的出口国，但是现在中国把这些大豆啊、玉米就是买来当做饲料，但是现在就是管制住了，反正就先不买。然后呢，还有一些很多就是你加了关税的话，那就是美国人的一些日常的消费。就是在社交平台网站上有看到很多人就是有一些帖子在晒单，就是比如说你加关税之前原来可能就是几十块的什么东西，然后突然就一下子就窜到了100多了，所以就是他们的生活成本就是遭到了一个很大的一个变化。那所以说加关税这件事，就是说它不仅打击了就是进口额，然后其实也打击了他本国人民的一些消费生活水平等等。所以就是说，川普把关税作为剑去刺别人的时候，其实也很严重的伤到了自己。那像中国的话，就比如说中国，我觉得说通过这阵子的了解上来看，中国能如此，就是说不那么忌惮，也比较头铁的去回应。一个就是说，我们从之前的其他新闻可以看到，中国的出口其实尽管出到美国的减少了， 但是出口总量其实总体还好，因为还出口到了其他国家，比如说非洲啊、东南亚或者南美，所以说中国的出口总体水平它还是比较稳的，不管说国内的一些就是很多的一些生产有过剩，但是没有卖到美国，也卖到了其他的国家了。也许是利润上没有那么好，但是起码就是说自己留有余口，留有活力了。那川普的话，这本来就是一个非常可圈可点的人物，就是我也曾一度再去思考说，就虽然尽管我个人的一个政治色彩就是说我就是不喜欢川普，尽管我也不觉得民主党有多么多么聪明。如果他们真的聪明，为什么川普第二次上台，他们还是失败了呢？那这既然是美国人民选的结果的话，不仅民主党也接受这个事实，那我作为一个旁观者来说，我也是接受这个事实的，并且我试图用非常理性去看待这件事情，就是说，川普在加关税这件事情，如果从很长远的以后来说，就是我们从一个未来的角度，比如说站在未来10年或者30年，以这样的一个经济周期去看当下发生的这些节点，我会去思考说，是否川普的这些政策，他真的有让他的一些很多民营企业回流？是否当前的这种损失也好啊，或者社会的这种紧张也好啊，它究竟是一个转折点？这个转折点它是成了好还是成了差？好的话，那有可能但是我既不是政治学家，我也不是经贸学家，我只是一个非常肤浅的人。那我依然在思考说，那他是真的就是会成为有这样一个成就吗？就是我愿意用一种非常包容以及积极的心态去看他，是否美国的产业结构，他们的国内是否能得到好转呢？但是以我那种，我没办法用很精良的数据去展示这一切，或者说来验证我的想法，我也没有办法穿越到以后，然后去看说，哎，以后的美国怎么样？是更封闭了，还是更强大了？但是所幸我生活在当下，然后并且还能有这样一个平台，尽管也没多少人听，来表达自己的一些想法的话，那我会觉得说，呃，我们也许在3年5年后，就是美国的再次大选的话，我还能会有机会再去看到美国它究竟就是还能往哪个方向上走，究竟这4年就是说。不过，总之呢，反正就这样吧。因为我作为 Chinese 的话，我没有选票，哪怕有选票的话，其实更多的时候就是说，我们我们投出的那一票，它不一定能起到决定的作用。但尽管如此，有选票肯定还是好一点啊，不然川普就更加肆无忌惮了。尽管即便有选票，他也是肆无忌惮的。嗯聊的有点多。哦，还有我在读这篇文章的时候，看到一个比较有趣的现象，应该是川普也同样会非常沮丧的一个原因，就是他始终坚持在那个什么真理平台上去发他的一些言论。哎呀，但是太好了，我不可能因为他去注册那个真理的那个平台的账号，所以说呢，看到川普失意的话，就会觉得好吧，虽然我们好像都没有受影响，但好像又都受影响了，好像也没办法做更多的事情了。所以说呢，祝大家生活愉快吧，谢谢。然后欢迎评论留言吧，但最好再加个按赞和关注吧，谢谢。